Podcast. My opinion. Podcast. All nine niggas.
We are back with another episode of In My Opinion Podcast. We got a newcomer today. We got Cathy, and I don't want to mispronounce your last name, so.
Zhao.
Zhao.
It's okay. You're
Even
forgiven.
though
You're American.
Yeah, we're gonna mess it up anyways.
It's spelled with a Z, right?
Yeah, Zhao.
Yeah,
Zhao.
so it's not me, goddammit. It's spelled with a Z.
It's your American brain that can't fathom that sound.
Don't worry, we got a question to lead up to that, and then of course I've got Rudy Ortez
Yes, sir.
to my to my left. There we go. My microphone moving there.
There we go.
We start off. I don't know if you got a chance to see any of the episodes, but
Yeah.
we start off with something so we can kind of get acclimated to one another.
You actually watched it before you came?
I watched it because I
Wow.
was at your comedy show. If
Yeah,
you don't,
yeah.
I think like many years ago.
Yeah. You have a clip up on the
Yes.
on the
I
podcast
perform
as well
at the
for the Bay Area's
yeah.
Got Contest.
Okay, yes.
So we do this thing called This or That. All right. So
This or that.
you pick one or the other. And you give a reason why if you can. I'll shoot it over to Rudy first so he can show you how it goes, and then we'll shoot it over to you, okay?
Okay.
So the first one is, are you a text or a calling person?
Calling. I hate text messages. I hate text. I'm not a fan of text messages. It's too much responsibility that's involved in texting because as soon as somebody texts me, I get the feeling that now I owe them my time. So like they got a timestamp on me. They're like, I texted you 2 hours ago. You haven't hit me back. It's like, well, I'm trying to live my life. I have a life to live. I can't text you right now immediately. So, and plus I just think phone calls are just so much more effective. You can get things done in a phone call.
Yeah.
Like you could talk about something for 2 minutes and that would have been like a half hour or a 45-minute text exchange. So just give me a phone call. We'll jump on the line and we'll figure out the situation.
Before we switch over to you, I think he said everything that I was gonna say. and Rudy should know me. I normally text him like, "Hey man, can you talk? Give me a call," because I don't want to go back and forth.
Oh, that's what I got. At first,
yeah.
I was like, "That's so American guy. Give me a call." I was like, "Who the heck are you? I should give you a call."
Yeah.
Because I normally just text.
Yeah,
Right.
I fucking hate text messaging.
But
I'm an old school dude, so I don't want to.
But why do you prefer text though?
Because my voice is so beautiful. You need to pay to listen to my voice, okay? And I think most people are so broke they can't afford it.
They can't even afford it.
Yeah, so just text.
Wow, good thing
So you're
texting
a
is
text
free now.
person.
I'm a text person. I'm so text person.
Do you
Plus, a lot of people cannot understand my English when they talk to me over the phone. That's the real reason.
So, but all right, but like even when you're speaking to like people that don't speak English, like somebody who speaks your language, like isn't it easier to just get on the phone?
No.
Still text?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I think you just don't like talking to people.
Yeah, I think
I
that's what it
like
is.
talking to people, but I just don't like talking shit.
You'd rather text
Tonight is an exception. Yeah,
Right,
I just
right.
want to talk shit tonight. Yeah.
Okay, good.
That's why
All
I
right.
came here.
You came to the right place.
And I did makeup, if you can see. Normally, it's a date makeup is 10 minutes, but for you guys, 3 minutes.
3 minutes,
3
fast.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just give us the cheap version, in and out.
There you go. So, all right. So now that you know how it goes. Oh, I wrote down this one because I figured you'd give us from a female perspective. All right. So
I try.
seeing that you have straight hair, would you prefer to have curly hair or straight hair? Because the question is really like for you, it's going to be, do you want girls to have curly hair or straight hair when you're with them? But for you,
Like whatever way is cheaper, I would prefer that.
The cheapest one. I mean, that's a practical decision.
Yeah, I'm Chinese.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
I only ask that because most girls with straight hair normally want curly hair. They're like, man, I wish I had a nice volume to my hair and it was nice and curly. So that's why I asked that. Me, preferably, I like that like Puerto Rican kinky fucking
like
hair.
that.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
like
I like that
that.
fucking something with volume in it and shit.
Nah, I don't.
But I'll take some straight hair. It's nice to pull.
Sometimes,
you know what I mean?
sometimes curly hair is just like representative of like their attitude. You know what I mean? Because it's like
that's what it
it's just
is.
a matter. You meet a girl with curly hair, it's just a matter of time. Like she's just gonna spring into action. Like she's just gonna explode on you. You know what I mean? Like a girl with straight hair represents calmness.
Oh, there we
Relax.
go. We're gonna see something
chill.
in the comments later on this shit.
I mean, you can just take guy's beard. Do you prefer straight beard or curly beard?
I prefer no facial hair, to be honest with you.
But you still have
even
beard.
though
You still
I
have
have
some,
facial
yeah.
hair.
Yeah.
I tell people the only reason I have facial hair is because it's a thing nowadays. I don't like it.
I can help
And
you
now
get rid of it.
That is part of the little Funko Pop. I thought I had it. Now that is part of the little Franco Pop that I have. A little image of myself.
Now you gotta keep it.
Now I got to keep it. And my girl hates it. Because when I met her, I didn't have any facial hair. So she's like, when are you going to shave that nasty food chew bullshit
Wow.
off? Yeah. And I'm
So
like,
you become a prisoner of your own image.
yeah.
Yeah, damn, you gotta keep it.
So yeah,
That's tough. That's tough, man.
So,
You know what? For ugly guys, beard won't help.
It won't.
Don't try it, guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Because true ugliness, like real beauty, is always visible. no matter what.
but
You
some
can't hide
guys
it.
look way better with a beard though, because they have a butt chin or something shit like that. Like,
Or they have no
fucking-
chin.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes they have no
Yeah,
chin
it
and you
look
have
like
no
someone
idea.
knocked it in
Right.
and just yeah.
Yeah, like if you shave the beard and then all of a sudden they just look like a frog, like with nothing underneath it.
Because I
It's
think
bad.
when I met you, you didn't have facial
I
hair.
didn't. No, I didn't. I mean, I had a
But
goatee.
I couldn't tell what the fuck you'd look like if you came in here and you was all
Because you just
facial.
don't remember. That's why. But there's go check your Facebook memories. It's
Yeah.
I'm in there. I'm in there with no beard, just a
Yeah,
goatee.
yeah. So he's had facial hair for a minute.
I had the old Puerto Rican drug dealer goatee. I had that for a long time.
All right. Again, I'm not asking you this because you're a female, but I'm more personalizing it, so I'll give my answer, then you can give yours. Are you a dishes or laundry person? I brought that up for my own personal reason because I would rather fold 15 loads of laundry than do one thing of dishes. And in my house, normally my girl will complain and be like, I always do the dishes. And I'm like, when's the last time you washed some fucking clothes around? And I was like, you think you just got clean underwear just because? I'm like, no, because I did the goddamn laundry. So I am a straight laundry person. How about you?
You know, without guys, we girls don't even need to do the underwears.
If it wasn't for us, now even that's our fault. Just us existing is cause for blame.
So she's saying she's going commando right now.
I would let the guy do both. I would let the guy do
okay.
both. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which-
good luck with
which
that.
do you prefer?
I would prefer the guy to do both.
Man, good luck. If you find that guy, hang on to him.
Yeah.
Hang on to him. Hang
I
on to
will.
him forever. Never let him
Wish
go.
me good luck. Wish
Yeah.
me good luck.
Yeah.
Hey, rich guys, I'm single.
The rich guys aren't folding laundry or washing dishes. I promise you're gonna have to get a broke ass, ugly motherfucker with no chin and a beard.
No, we can hire a nanny or we can hire a maid or whatever. You can, as long as you can afford it, it's fine.
That's
good.
hilarious.
All right, Rudy, what are you going with? What would you rather do?
I'd rather do dishes.
Really?
Yeah, dishes. I honestly, it's to be honest with you, I like cleaning because it's cathartic, and laundry and dishes are probably two of the most cathartic ones because you always feel better once you've cleared all that up. Because your dishes and your laundry, at some point, they start to kind of represent the way that you feel. You know, like you feel like, damn, it's been a long day. I feel stressed out. And you look over and you see that big ass pile of dirty ass drawers, or you see that big ass pile of dishes. And that represents the way that you feel. So if you start washing them and you putting them away, you start feeling better. Notice how you start feeling relieved. You start feeling less stressed because your life is in order, as opposed to being a mess like your kitchen. So
I'm just saying, Kathy, I think you should have took some pointers.
I-
That's how he's going to find
no.
him a woman.
I know the
by
real
saying all
reason
this
why
shit.
Rudy only prefers dish because he only eats taco. He doesn't even need dishes.
I eat the dish.
You eat the dish.
No, believe me, no. Now, when I get married, I ain't doing nothing. So
And
Again,
he's as single
that's
as
why I
fuck.
said
yeah,
As far as I
I'm doing
know.
this for now out of necessity. But once I get have a wife, you know, the
Once.
roles will switch. The roles will
Best
change.
wishes.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Broke women, I'm out here if you need me.
I will help you.
All right, here's a big debate in my house as well. Rudy, I'm going to shoot it over to you first. When you're eating nachos, do you want shredded cheese on it and then melt it? Or do you want that ballpark wet cheese, orange
Yeah.
cheese?
Well, ballpark, because that's real. That's the actual cheese that goes on the nachos. That other shit, that's ghetto baby nachos. That's like in the microwave
What?
nachos. Yeah, when you sprinkle it on there and then you put it in the microwave, nachos don't belong in the microwave to begin with. Not real nachos. Like I said, those are ghetto baby nachos. You put it in the microwave and then you let it melt. Real nachos have the cheese that come out of the can.
Have you ever had nachos in Mexico?
Yeah.
Did they use that wet cheese and shit, or did they use sprinkled cheese?
No, they use the wet cheese, but nachos aren't even really Mexican. That's an American concoction.
I'm just saying,
nachos are not like.
I only asked that because I grew up in a border town.
Yeah.
And when we had to go to Juarez for mom to go see some of her family or some shit, they had like shredded cheese, but it melt. And that cheese was like the best cheese.
Because you're an American ghetto baby, and they know that. They're like, give them the fucking cheap shit. But give them the cheese that we feed the ducks.
I like to explain like it was mozzarella,
right,
but with a good taste to it. So you take that one chip and you see the cheese, just like it was pizza or something. So I prefer shredded cheese.
I get it. I get it. Shredded cheese for a shredded man. I know. I understand.
Damn, he's hating.
I understand, man. But see, they know that in Mexico, they know what we like. That's why they give us like they'll make like. Have you ever had a burger in Mexico? They know what we just like slop. They're like, just fucking throw 2 pieces of bread on there, put a piece of cheese on there, yellow cheese again. They know we love cheese, so they give us like their worst efforts. I promise you that. I know you people. All right, I know you well.
I know you people.
I've grown up with you guys. I know how you are.
All right, Kathy. If you're eating nachos, what kind of nachos you getting? Shredded cheese, or you want that yellow slop on it?
Believe it or not, I am lactose intolerant.
As most Asians.
You know, honestly, I believe it. I believe it.
Most Asians are.
But I love cheese. I only love goat cheese.
Goat cheese.
And expensive cheese.
Yeah. So wait.
Whole Foods cheese.
So you can't have ice cream or anything like that?
I love ice cream. Yeah.
But it has to be non-dairy ice cream.
No, I'm okay with ice cream.
Yeah. So, but you're lactose intolerant, but you'll have ice cream. So that means that when you decide to have ice cream, you just accept the consequences.
Spiritually.
Yes, emotionally, literally, and figuratively. I just accept it. That's good. That's good. I'm opening up an ice cream shop right next to a public bathroom for people just like you.
I never have a problem with ice cream.
Not with
I
ice
only
cream.
had problem with milk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why Asian people love boba and shit.
Why?
Because I don't think it comes with that much milk. I don't even know what the fuck's in the boba.
You don't even know
drink.
what boba is, huh?
I don't even know
my goodness.
Those little jelly balls? I don't know what it is either, to be honest with you.
Again, we had my girl's Filipina, so she's like half Asian, half Mexican, or whatever the fuck.
You are a nurse.
Right?
You are half Filipino.
So she's always talking about we need to open a boba shop, and I'm like, not
it's
in Modesto.
super lucrative. Oh, do that.
Not in Modesto.
Much better than nurse.
That's
we
true.
do it together.
You can still wear scrubs if you want, you know?
If you do it, I'll invest in you. I'll do accounting for you.
I'm just because she's lactose intolerant, and when she eats anything dairy, you know, it's a wrap for the night.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
So I'm assuming that because she's always trying to drink boba, that it doesn't have any dairy in it.
I think they have probably fake dairy.
Yeah. Whatever you're eating, whatever the dairy is that you're eating, get her some of that.
Yeah.
All right. You guys ready for some real questions now that we're all warmed up?
Go for it.
I wanted to just start this one first just because I did not want to forget this story. Me and Rudy went out to have a bite after the last episode.
Right.
And there was an older lady there that was hitting on Rudy. And La Piñata.
That's a joke.
She was hitting on whatever warm body sat next to her.
Yeah.
Poor lady.
So how did I write this? I wrote it as, in a relationship, who do you think is more likely to take abusive behavior, the male or the female? Now, I wrote it like that. Why, Rudy? You explain it from here.
Well, because this woman kind of proved my point. You know, women are willing to take abusive behavior more than men usually are because I think they confuse it. They confuse it with like a guy who like really cares about them and is looking out for their best interest. And then also like this woman, I think sometimes they just get scared that they don't want to leave. They're afraid to leave. This lady was telling us that her ex-boyfriend like threatened her with a chainsaw and like actually was abusing her. It's funny. It's only funny
because it was multiple times.
It's only funny because
how old is she?
She was like 50 something years old. But
your mom's age.
Yeah, I know. And we were like, and I was like, and you stuck around, didn't you? And then she said yes. But when she said yes, she smiled, and I could see like there was like some joy in her eye. And I'm like, see, this is what I'm talking about. I'm like, why would no man in their right mind is gonna if a woman, I don't care how beautiful she is, how much I love her, if she ever threatens me with a weapon, I'm leaving that night. I'm gone that night. You know what I mean? Like, but this lady, she stuck around and got threatened like 2 or 3 times physically, and the guy finally beat her ass, and then she left. I'm like, damn, like You should have seen that coming. That was bound to happen. So I just think that women tend to take abusive relationships. They tend to stay in them more, longer, because I think that in their mind, they think they could change the guy, or they think that that's how the guy shows love. And men don't care about love as much as we care about respect. Unfortunately, if you could really love a guy, but if you don't respect them, or if you disrespect them, he'll leave you. Even if he loves you, he'll leave you, because our egos are very fragile.
One thing I totally agree with you is like women, we always think we can change guys.
That's crazy.
But hey, guys are the worst animals in this world.
You see what I'm saying?
You won't change that fact.
You can't change it.
So
you can't
change that. They're just bad. They're just bad. Like 1% of them are good. So take them, marry them. Okay.
But those are the ones that you guys don't want to fuck or marry or be with them. You know what I mean? But you're right though. Animals, we are the worst animals in the world, and that's why we run the world, because only an animal this terrible could be the leader of the world and build societies and civilizations and destroy them.
Who run the world?
Men.
Girls. Who run the world? Girls.
That's adorable. That's such a cute song that lady made, whatever her name is.
I mean, we have to admit it that guys, you are running the world, but not you. I mean, smart guys.
Smart guys. Smart, wealthy men that are very ambitious. I just get to be part of the team. I get to wear the uniform. But believe me, I'm not in the game.
Now, do you think, as I'm watching you two argue, right? I think a woman is more based to take physical abuse more than a man. Right. But I think when it comes to emotional abuse, and I know women are going to hate when I say this, but I think men take more emotional abuse.
Yeah, because that's the way of life for men.
Be belittled by a woman more because it doesn't have that sting to us.
No, because the world hates us.
Kind of throw it to you. Mm-hmm. You're just like whatever.
Yeah,
like because we're used to women just because again I think women, like when she was saying her story, she was like, oh well the second time I fought him off, and in her mind she really thought that she was more powerful than this man. And I said, no, he gave you a pass.
Yeah,
because again, if I'm fighting with a dude that's bigger than me, I know that this dude probably gave me a pass, or he would have just whooped my ass because he's got 50 pounds on me.
Right.
And I think women don't see that part. So when I listen to stories like the one she gave me, I told Rudy as soon as we walked out, I was all, that motherfucker let her live, right?
So pretty much, yeah. Yeah, she didn't like...
It was just interesting to me that women say that, where I'm just like, I've never walked up to someone bigger and badder than me and been like, yeah, you lucky I let you...
Are you talking about Mexican men or men in general? I feel like there's some like racial and regional differences. It's like, is that a thing in Mexico?
No, that's definitely Mexican men. We're talking to you. That's definitely for Mexican men.
Have you not seen two Mexican boxers? They normally just punch each other in the head. There's no defense there. They just bam, 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 bam. So
Because normally Asians, like I haven't seen many Asian girls marry Mexicans. So
no, it doesn't
we have
happen.
no experience about that side. But I mean, in general, I think women, in terms of physical build, like we are more fragile.
Of course.
So there's no way you can beat a guy unless you are a boxer or something like special physical training.
Right.
But in terms of emotional abusive, I think if you think about all the movies, like Gaslight, right? It's always the guys. Gaslight a woman, right?
Right.
Why is that term synonymous with women using it lately, bro? Like that gaslit. And shit
Finally, we can speak the truth.
No, it's because they're barely finding out what we've known forever.
Yeah.
Is that people lie to get their way. And
we were just pretending to be stupid, so you can just do the shit and pay all the bills.
You guys aren't pretending.
You guys were pretending.
It's just, no. I mean, I'm joking, but it's just funny how you're right.
We have to be joking.
That word has become so popular, and it's like sometimes I'll listen to anybody, man or woman, but it's usually women that it's very prevalent with women amongst.
If you're a dude and you use that term,
amongst like the current culture that we're living in, because we live in a trending culture, so things change, things become popular from day to day, right? Currently, right now, this notion of gaslighting is very popular from the women's standpoint, but it just always makes me laugh when I hear people say that, because in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, did you not know that people lie every day, all the time to get their way? I mean, that's such a common notion in a man's world, gaslighting, because people lie every day, all the time.
But there's a difference between lying and gaslighting, right? And also gaslighting is normally for smart guys, so
Yes.
not those two.
No, I gaslight no one.
They have no strategy.
I lie and then just hope that it works.
That's just stupid liar. That's not a gaslighting.
Yeah.
I wanted to touch on something because you brought it up. So hopefully I say this properly and right. Is when I asked you earlier, I said, did you grow up here? And you said, no, you grew up in China. Or whatever, right? So is it safe to assume that Asian women or Chinese women are a little bit more submissive and not as disrespectful as American women are anyways to begin with? So you come over here and you look at the culture over here and you're like, man, Amy Sue is just getting in her dude. Like, I couldn't imagine grandma doing some shit like that or something. Because again, it just seemed like growing up and having to go back to Mexico, there was a difference in some culture differences.
There's definitely cultural difference because normally guys, like especially American guys, think Asian women are submissive, Miss Saigon, like Miss Butterfly, all those fragile, like soft voice, like beautiful Asian girls, tiny ones. But I mean, hey, my job is to help you get rid of your Asian fetish, right? Because I am loud since I was a little kid in China, here, everywhere. I cannot, represent Asian women. But I have to say, like, I met many Asian girls who are very submissive. That's what white guys like. I know that
all men from any race or any background.
Guy, someone asked me, as like, hey, can you do me a hand job? I was like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, seriously.
Right?
It's like, dude, this is a bank. We're at a bank, sir. But why do you think that Asian women have gotten that stereotype?
It's because of Orientalism. It's like the projection on Asian women from Westerners, specifically white guys. Oh, like the porcelain doors. Right. It's like a beautiful picture. It's like you should just smile, Yeah.
That's
stupid,
Yeah.
Why does that bother you so much?
Because that's not me. That's a
not
stereotype.
You,
that's not me.
But a stereotype comes from somewhere.
Yeah, it's
right?
definitely that speaks
So
some
I guess
truth.
my question is, because again, like my girl's first generation, so like she still speaks Tagalog. She does. So when we have discussions, I have to remember that she's first generation and she still does a lot of things like from the old country and shit.
Yeah.
And then her mom, her dad passed away 30 years ago, and her mom doesn't want to even look for another man.
Oh, wow.
And to me, that's old country thinking. That's like, fuck that, man. Be happy. You only got one life to live. Go find you some new dick, girl. God damn it. So, shout out to my girl's mom.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll love to hear that.
My dad is still alive, but my mom said, go find me a rich white guy in America.
Right.
They're still married. So I think it really depends on families. But like in terms of culture, I know Asian culture, they kind of give this pressure on women. It's like once your husband died, you should keep your virginity forever, like without finding another guy. That happened. That was the truth. It's like there's a term in Chinese. We say that you cannot want to be a prostitute but keep your virginity.
Right.
Which means, like in Chinese culture, if you just after your husband die, you do not remarry, they will set up a big door, like a gate in front of your house to see that, hey, you are so pure because you keep the virginity after your husband died. But that's totally BS. We all know that.
Of course.
But there was the history. So there was a history among Asian cultures. Like women always once under pressure, always depressed one have to, keep this culture going. Yeah. But now I think there's no such thing. It's like.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably still, I think that's not just the Asian thing. I think that, because I know a lot of Latina women that have also like experienced this idea where it's like, I lose my husband. What do I do now with my life? I have to sit on the sidelines for at least for a very long time. And then sometimes that turns into forever. So I don't really think that wouldn't necessarily attribute it to just one culture. I think that's human culture. And because I think women are expected to be to say, okay, this was the one man that I committed my life to. He's no longer here. So I think we have more of an expectation for the woman to say, okay, well, that was it for me. One and done. I had my child with this person. I had my kids with this person. I loved him, and that's it. Men don't have that same expectancy. Men are expected. You said it earlier. All men, men are disgusting animals. So there's already an expectancy. That's why I think it's a little more acceptable for a man to lose his wife, and then somebody comes up to that man eventually and says, "Hey, man, well, get back out there," you know. And I don't think women are afforded that same luxury. But I don't think it has anything to do with any specific culture. I think that's just human culture. Because unfortunately, men, we have the green light to do whatever we want. Or not real. Well, unfortunately for you guys, fortunately for us, you know, we kind of have the green light to do whatever we want. We're kind of encouraged to get back out there. Come on, go out there, you know.
But, you know, very interesting scientific research recently showed that while a man lost his spouse, like around 60 years old, like he will die very soon. But for a woman, like 60, 70, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah. She's like, fuck him. Finally, I got rid of
For
that.
real. Because a man's life is shorter.
And I bring up the culture thing because I just recently had one of my comic friends that has moved over to Japan, and he was like, "Bro, I'll never fucking move back to the United States." And I was like, "Why?" He goes, "Just the culture over there is totally different." He goes, "Let me give you this example," and I go ahead. And he goes, "When men drink over in Japan, it's disrespectful for them to get out of hand. You better know how to hold your liquor." And he goes, "When have you ever seen anybody here in America not act retarded when they're drinking?"
Right. They act a fool.
He goes, "Yeah, you get like banished from places over there." And I was all, maybe we do need to take in some of these customs.
Right.
Because, when there's a lot of drinking in certain places where I'm like, nah, I don't go there after 12 o'clock because I know I'm going to run into some bullshit.
But like, when you go visit, it's really easy to notice all the little cultural differences, and you even celebrate them. But you celebrate them because they're so different from yours. But once you go live there, I fucking promise you, these motherfuckers aren't upholding that. You know, they fucking start drinking sake, they start talking shit, probably freestyle rapping, you know, and then eventually it gets disrespectful because that's just human nature. When you get drunk, you're gonna say and do stupid shit. That like no country is excluded from that behavior. But your buddy notices it because the notion of it is so brand new to him. But I bet you if he actually lived there.
Well, he's been there like 6 years now.
And he's never seen. I'm sure he's seen like drunk people get out of hand.
Again, it was.
If we got any Japanese watchers, give us a call right now.
Hey, I feel I'm talking with two guys who don't have passports.
I got to renew mine. Mine has to get
I
renewed.
just know other countries don't like Americans, so I stay here, bro.
But that's my favorite part about going to other countries is that they don't like us. That's my fucking favorite part. Because I'm an American first, and when I go to other countries, I'm like, yeah, man, like fucking respect me. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm sure somewhere down the line, I put an embargo on your country or saved you from a war. So respect me. Show me a little respect.
The problem is when you go to other countries, they don't take you as Americans.
I know.
They just take you as an asshole.
Yeah.
Mexicans.
Yeah, they told us that before. Somebody told me they're like, dude, when you go somewhere else, tell them you're Mexican before you're American. I'm like, all right.
Because everyone thinks Americans are just white.
Yeah.
Like total white.
Yeah.
Even for a lot of Chinese, like white.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's the stereotype of the American, right?
Yeah. Rich and white.
Rich and white.
Don't worry. Even white people here in America think of us like that. So.
I know.
All right. Next question, you guys. Since we're on the culture, let's talk about culture. I assume you're bilingual?
Yes.
Okay, Rudy is too. Me, I barely speak English, so
still working that one out.
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Rudy can speak sign language and English.
Like a gorilla.
Maybe gang signs, some shit, right? But we're gonna do comedy wise. So, do you think being bilingual helps or hurts your comedy? We'll go with you first, Cathy.
I think it definitely helps. Yeah. Because it can give me different perspective. It's like, so I feel something is funny because it's like I'm standing at a point of the Chinese, while processing the Chinese language. It's like, I didn't know prostrate and a prostitute are two different words for a while.
Right.
That's something funny. And there are also like perspectives like, because you are from another culture, right? Because a language means another culture. When you're from another culture, you will be kind of like outsider to see the culture you are currently involved in.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things I feel like it doesn't make any sense to me.
I could imagine,
but people who
yeah.
are involved, it's like, oh yeah.
And
that's
have
our
you
daily
done
life.
comedy in your other language as
Yes,
well?
I've done that in Chinese Mandarin last year. I did.
And what's easier? And the only reason I ask is because Tom Segura,
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you know who he is, right? But he speaks English and Spanish.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, when I had to go and do it in Spanish, he goes, it was different. And I had another comic, I think it was maybe Richard Villa, right? That helped him out and was like, hey, when you do it in Spanish, they look more at your facial features and how you're
Right.
moving your
Yeah.
face. And he goes, I had to have somebody else tell me. So did you experience that as well?
I felt some difficulty when I was doing in Chinese Mandarin because I've been living here for so long.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm kind of sometimes think the way Americans think.
Right.
So when I was back in China last year, I did like 4 months of like comedy tours, both in English and Chinese. The Chinese ones I felt was like way worse than the English ones.
What was the
Really?
big difference?
I think that's culture and language and also like because I didn't live there for a while.
Yeah.
You kind of like even though you're speaking Chinese, it's still they feel you're speaking a different language. It's,
Right.
like the subtleness something has lost.
Absolutely, yeah, because they can tell. They can tell that you've lost the nativity of the. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
because when I go to Mexico, when I speak to anybody who speaks where Spanish is their first language, even though technically Spanish is my first language, but you live in a place for so long speaking a different language that becomes your dominant language.
Exactly.
So obviously English is my dominant language. I still speak Spanish fluently, but when I go to Mexico or when I talk to anybody whose first language is Spanish, they can tell. They're like, oh yeah, you don't sound like somebody from Mexico. Plain and simple. You're saying all the right words. You know how to pronounce them. You know how to use them, but you don't sound like us. So that gives it away immediately. So what ends up happening, because I've done Spanish
Is it
comedy.
more proper or more slang that they think you're speaking?
Though I have to speak more. I have to speak as proper as possible because I'm not in that culture, so I don't know the slang. So that immediately tips you off. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Because you don't know the slang and because you don't have the dexterity to use the slang. They're like, oh, this motherfucker's not from here. We could tell. No matter how proper your verbiage is, doesn't matter. We know you're not from here. So for me, it was like being bilingual hasn't really helped me much because I don't do comedy in Spanish because I'm terrible at it. And then also, I mean, I can be funny in Spanish, but I can't. I've never written a whole set in Spanish and been like, oh, these are some fire ass jokes that I got in Spanish.
Yeah, because you didn't live there.
No, 'cause I didn't live there, you know?
live here. Like, you grew up here, I guess. So that's the because I felt the same way. Because when I was a kid growing up in China, I
Yeah.
was always the funniest kid in the classroom. It's just culture. It's like the everyday,
Yes.
you know how to do that. But like after like so many years, like went back last year, I feel like there are a lot of things people are talking about I don't know.
Right.
So that's the thing. Like,
And I guess I wrote the question, you two, because again, I don't speak another language, but I just recently did comedy in LA. And when I go do comedy in LA, it's different, especially when you look like this.
Yeah.
Because they expect you to do a little bit of Spanglish. They expect you to, and I don't really come from that
Right.
culture. So when I go down there, I feel like I'm like, man. And then when I sit back and hear the comedy going on, I'm like, oh, okay.
Right.
There's a disconnect, a little bit of a disconnect. Even though we all live in America, we all do the same shit. There's a little bit of a disconnect, and I'm not gonna lean into that.
yeah,
that-
and the people
so-
expect you to lean on that
Yeah.
part. That's so sad because I remember I was at Colorado Spring doing some shows, and there's this guy, a super fat white guy. I think he's a judge. Like a judge of the comedy competition.
Oh, okay.
He's not that smart to be a judge.
Not like a district attorney or something.
No. Just a judge for the competition. He's like, oh, Cathy, I think you need to talk about like when you first came to America, like the stupid things, silly things you did. I was like, first year America, I was studying at Harvard Yard. I
Right.
was like, you think I did more stupid things than you? I didn't say that because he was a judge.
Yeah. You don't want to fuck up your chances. Even though he was already giving you a lecture on what you just. I think you lost that. I think if the judge is telling you what to do. No, but one more. I do want to say this about being bilingual though, because like right now, when you mention that, sometimes you feel like you go to LA and you feel like, oh, I got to incorporate a little bit. There's different degrees to being bilingual in comedy. I think if I go to LA or anywhere in the Southwest, I'm going to be around a bunch of other Mexican Americans whose Spanish is as advanced as mine. So we're equals. So I could say some broken, fucked up Spanish, but to them it's hilarious because their Spanish is just as broken and fucked up. So their limitations are my limitations. We're equals. Now, if I go down a little bit further and I go to Mexico and I start trying to kick that Mexican American shit, and my level of Spanish is presented to them, they're gonna be like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" Like, I don't even understand. It doesn't even make any sense. But when I say that to my homies in LA or in New Mexico, I can throw a little bilingual Spanish. I can get a little bilingual. I don't have to be good. I don't have to sound like I'm from Mexico. I just have to sound like I'm Mexican American, and that's enough. You know. But if I go to Mexico with that Mexican American shit, they're gonna be like, "This guy's not funny. Come back when you learn the language." So there's like degrees to it. There's different levels to it.
Yeah.
And I say that where I would use the example of if you ever watch Angela Johnson. I'm kind of like, I don't say I write the same material, but I'm using her as the example of when people hear my comedy, I might say like mijo or something. I'm not speaking Spanish. It's just, I always heard my parents say mijo, like son. That's all. So I'll incorporate it, but I'm not speaking other than that.
Yeah.
And if you've ever watched Angela Johnson, she don't speak Spanish neither. So she'll add like a little thing in there.
Yeah, that's all you need.
But it's nothing huge. It's
And she's true to
that's
herself.
not our punchline.
Right.
It's
Right,
just something to.
You have to be authentic. That's
Right.
That's if you never spoke, I guess, Spanish to your parents.
Yeah.
You don't need to speak Spanish.
Yeah.
Try to
As a
pretend
matter of
like
fact,
you
she
speak.
probably does a better Vietnamese than the Mexican fucking accent, right?
No, I think what ends up happening is that like guys like Rick that don't speak Spanish and people expect him
Yeah.
to, you probably start getting self-conscious about it. So then you hear people who do speak Spanish and you're like, man, this guy's got such a great advantage. But if both me and you go to a room in LA and there's a bunch of Mexicans, our level of Spanish is going to get the same exact response. The same response.
I will say, let me make this a point, is no, I don't feel any less. As a matter of fact, I lean into it more that I don't speak Spanish. Like even on Saturday's show, I was like, thank you guys coming to this birria spot. And oh my God, you should have heard the moans when I said birria and not birria or whatever.
Right.
So I lean into the fact like I'm not going to pronounce this shit correctly.
Right.
So you guys know I don't speak Spanish too. So stop expecting me.
But did you say that though? Or did you just think that?
No, I thought that. I did.
Okay, see,
You should make
that's what I'm
that
saying.
into
You got to
jokes,
say that though.
Yeah.
Because if you just think it, then
don't know.
what are you proving? Make it a joke so
Yeah,
so
make it
you
into
can really
jokes.
lean into it. Because otherwise, that's why I say like that was just like a part of you, and you're not alone. I know a lot of I know a lot of pochos that don't speak any Spanish whatsoever, and one of their main topics is usually like, man, like these fools think I'm less Mexican because I don't speak Spanish. We're like, yeah, they do, they do.
You will have like
But if you lean into that, bro, that's a bit right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
And again, I'm working on that new bit where I said my girl's first generation, and then I always ask the white people, you wondering what generation I am. And I said, well, I was born here. My parents were born here. My great-great-great-great-grandparents were born here. And before that, the part of Texas
So
was
you
Mexico.
are Native American.
Native American, yes.
Yeah. So,
He's from a teepee. He was in a teepee. Yeah.
yeah.
Like eventually, like at the beginning from Asia.
Ah. And then eventually from Africa. If you go back far enough, yeah. And eventually we're all fish. So
Yeah.
we have the fish to thank.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Again, I guess on the bilingual shit or the cultural shit, I wrote, do you think culture influences your creativity as a comic? Like,
What do you mean culture influences? Do you mean
Like,
American culture?
American
influences?
culture, or I'll say for me, it's I know I always write from that standpoint of, and that's what I've been trying to do. I've been trying to let people know, like, look, I know you look at me as an immigrant, and you know I make that fucking joke about about building a wall and stuff like that. So I come from that standpoint. So I think for me, my creativity always comes from the culture, and I'm trying to figure out that way to let my audience know, oh yeah, he might be brown, but he doesn't speak Spanish, or he grew up from Texas and he was a military brat, and he's lived all over the United States. So I've seen the East Coast, I've seen the West Coast, I've been down south, I've lived all over. So I have that different perspective, and I think it obviously shapes me. But I'm not saying that it shapes every comic that way. So I just wanted to ask you guys, so you can go ahead and
Yeah, because I grew up in another countries, total different culture. So I feel like my early education, I call it education in comedy, it's all from Chinese comedians, like the best Chinese comedians. Like I'm from an area, it's like we're all the most famous comedians in China are from that area. So it's a big influence on my personality and also on my like comedy stuff.
Yeah.
So I would say like first is that, and then when I came here, then I got influence here about American culture. Even growing up, there's so much American culture influence on China, because I think Chinese people know way more American like culture knowledge than Americans know about China.
Most
I
definitely.
think our number one export is entertainment, right? So
I mean, Americans don't even know about American culture, so we're definitely not gonna know about somebody else's
that out of
culture.
books around here. So
Yeah, I mean, definitely culture. I mean, especially being Mexican in this part of the country, like there's so many fucking Mexicans. Like it's hard to not talk about Mexican shit. You know what I mean? So and then when you mix in, that's just Mexican shit. But then when you mix in the Mexican American twist, like that, because that's a culture unto itself. Is Mexican American culture. That's its own thing. So I got two, and then on top of that, just being an American. So really, I got three different cultures to pull from. And it's, I'm definitely going to pull from them because there's a lot of different stuff that you could tap into when you got three cultures that you're deeply involved in.
And then that Bay Area culture too.
I mean,
because it is his own culture.
Yeah. Then just like being a man or just being a fucking single guy, like there's a culture for everything. But ethnically speaking, though, like there's three different cultures that I could pull from, and I'm definitely going to pull from them. But here's the thing, though. After a while, though, I do think that after a while, sometimes like I'll tell like my 1 millionth Mexican joke, and I'll just be sitting there listening to people laugh, and in my mind I'll be like, how many times am I going to tell a Mexican joke? You know what I mean? But it's hard to not pull from that though, because you know that so well. And to your point, you're trying to be authentic, so you want to talk about things that you know about. But then as a comic or as a writer, when you walk away from the stage, you're like, man, like that's the 1 millionth Mexican joke I've told. Like, am I going to just do that forever? So sometimes you do want to back away from it because you don't want to feel like you're
definitely.
You don't want to feel like you're just telling these jokes because you're Mexican. You want to feel like you're telling jokes because you're a comedian and that you're funny. You know what I mean? But so sometimes it's kind of hard to look at it and to wonder to yourself, oh man, am I just saying this because?
But you need to have a perspective.
Right.
And normally, it's your perspective. It's from certain culture, from like your bringing up. So it's like it's combined together.
So it's still authentic. You got to remind yourself, I'm being authentic.
And you got to learn where, again, some of my first jokes were the stuff white people like. The book that I brought out, and honestly, I was in class, and one of my students in there was like, hey man, you should read this book. And I was like, okay, cool. And I started to write that, and when I wrote everything, I just knew that I was leaning into white people more. And if you actually listen to the joke, I shit on Mexicans and black people more than I shit on white people in that whole joke. You know what I mean? So that's where you had to take that and twist it a little bit, where I was like, oh, okay, cool. And those jokes have been around for 10 years. You know what I mean? So, sometimes
what was the name of that book again?
Stuff White People Like.
Stuff White People Like.
I'm gonna read that.
Yeah. After this podcast airs, there'll be an uptick in sales.
It's very interesting. Like, people always ask me, like, Cathy, why are you so confident? Why are you so confident on stage? I was like, I just think I'm a white guy.
That's it. That's all you got to do. If you want to have confidence in life, just believe you're Donald Trump. You're a rich white man.
As much as you on white people's nutsack this whole damn podcast, bro, I wish I would have had John Garside on there.
Dude, fast forward 6 years from now, Cathy will be married to a white man, and we'll show him this episode and be like, she manifested you.
Hey, white guys, you should listen to this podcast.
All right, Rudy, we're going to go with you first. In comedy, what's on your bucket list?
In comedy, what's on my bucket list? I would like to do, I definitely want to be like a national headliner, you know what I mean? So I can see like my name on the marquee, selling out a weekend with people that want to come see me do my work, you know what I mean? That to be honest with you, that would be the only thing that's really on my bucket list. Like I don't have any dreams or fantasies of like having a Netflix special or like being in movies or anything like that. I don't want to be famous. Famous looks fucking terrible. And most people that are famous it just looks like they're going crazy all the time. or they're
Garcia.
working on ways to not be so famous, like they want to peel back on it. So fame is not that's not my goal. I just want to be a really good comic and like just be the best like writer and performer that I can be. But if I had to like kind of bring it down to one thing, boil it down to one thing, like I want to be a national headliner. I want to go to clubs around the country and be the guy who's who's like selling out the shows. That's my
now
bucket
with
list.
that. Do you, most comics would say, if I was making what I'm making now and being a national headliner, that's good enough for me. Is that good?
Yeah,
enough
for sure. Because I don't give a fuck about money, man. Like money is not that. Money doesn't. I mean, of course, I give a fuck about money. I have to. Unfortunately, I live in this godforsaken society where we have to. We have to have money. So I get it. But having a lot of money and attaining money, it just doesn't move me, man. It's not. That's not something that. It doesn't motivate me. You know what I mean?
It just sounds like you never had a lot of money.
Absolutely. And you know what, Cathy? I hope it stays that way. I do because it seems like once you have a lot of money,
It will stay that way.
yeah, no, it will. Believe me, I'm doing absolutely nothing to change lanes. I promise you. But the thing is though, I just feel like when you end up having a lot of money, man, you're just at risk of like changing into a worse person. I've seen very few people that have made a lot of money and become better people. Most of the time you become a bigger piece of shit because you have to, because you're either drunk with the power of money, or now money is revealing who you really are, because that's what they say money is. Money doesn't change you. It just amplifies what you already are. So if you're a fucking dog and you love booze and you love drugs when you were broke, when you get money, you're going to be all that shit times 100, So like I said, I've just seen very few people become better people when they have money. And it's like, I'm still trying to be a good person right now and I'm broke. Imagine if I imagine if I made $1 million, I'm going to completely abandon the Make Rudy a Good Person project and just go straight for the hookers and cocaine. I'm go straight for the fucking debauchery. You know what I mean? So
no,
that's why it doesn't move me.
Because again, most people will look at certain national headliners and be like, "Oh, that's making it." But some of these national headliners are barely making enough to get there to do the show.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But like I said before, man, like if you got into comedy for money, if you do art for money, good luck, because you're not going to be satisfied on either end. You're either not going to be fulfilling yourself artistically because you got to compromise your integrity for the art so that you can make money, or you're going to be chasing money all the time and you're going to abandon the art. So art and money, they don't go together, man. I mean, I suppose a guy like Kevin Hart would say differently, right? Because he's but
he'll wear a dress. Okay.
Okay. For guys who don't want to be rich, you can donate your money to me. I accept.
She'll take it.
Okay, so what's on your bucket list?
Take off.
Since his seemed a little too simple for you, what are you about to say? 15 comedy specials and arenas? What are you doing?
I want to be internationally toured comic. Yeah, I want to inspire a lot of women, like Asian women or like African women. I was like people who normally feel like they deserve the best comedian spot. I want to inspire more people. Because I'm also running a nonprofit. It's called Lafayette Hub. So we provide comedy workshops to underprivileged teenagers around the Bay Area. This year we're going to Los Angeles. So that's something I want to do. Advertisement time.
Shameless plug.
Rudy wants to sign up.
Sorry, Asian business person.
Well, at least it's a nonprofit. So you're doing something good.
It's a 501c3 nonprofit. You can donate to us.
I like that one though. Being an international. I mean, yeah, because why think just nationally, right? Think bigger than that. Think globally.
Yeah, I have a passport.
Yeah, yes, and it's not expired. It actually works.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
okay.
For my answer, you guys, I'm going to go with I want an hour out. And it's not even for me or for my fans. I think it's something that, again, I have kids. So I want my kids, that's why I do this podcast. I want my kids to look back and be like, oh, my dad did that. We can focus on that. So I want a great hour that I can come out and be proud of. And I don't give a fuck if people like it or don't like it. Because if you ask most people about Patrice O'Neal, elephant in the room, they wouldn't know, what comedy, top 5 fucking comedy special of all time.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you're a real comedian, you've seen it, you know what it is. So I think for me, it'd have to be an hour. I think if I made the same amount, who am I lying? Even if I made less than what I'm doing just so I can get the fuck out of the healthcare system to be a national headliner.
Wow.
So, that's the truth. So I'm right there with Rudy. And for me, it's I don't know mentally if I could handle the fame. You know what I mean? So that's just the truth behind it. Because again, like he said, where is your cutoff? It's that what are you willing to do for that dollar? And we've had that conversation several times here on this podcast. And the one thing that I can't give Rudy credit for is this man has integrity, and so do I. I don't think either one of us is going to put on a dress, suck a dick, do any of that shit just to be famous. So
you wouldn't put on a dress for $1 billion though.
$1 billion?
Who will offer you?
All right. If Elon Musk needs me in the
He's like, we're running tests on Neuralink, Rick, and we need you to wear this skirt.
I think a man in a dress is just like Dave Chappelle said. It just kind of played out. It's not as funny as it could have been. It just seems like it's not authentic anymore.
If someone gives me $1 billion, I will put on a dick. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No. But the man in the dress thing though, and I don't know if we talked about this before, but I don't know, man. Sometimes I get I just feel like that's one of those things that lately has become like such a hot topic. I do wonder if we're just like we're making it a bigger deal than it actually is, because
yes, you are.
because a man in a dress can be hilarious because it follows the rules of humor, which is two opposites. It's like seeing a little dog carrying a big stick. And they're like barely able to hang on to it. They're barely able to hold it in their mouth.
That's what Scottish men are doing for generations.
Right. They've been hilarious. They're hilarious. The Scottish are hilarious.
I don't think it's necessarily the dress that people are. It's the feminizing a man.
Yeah,
that's more to it.
But if you think this way, if girls can put on jeans, why men cannot put on dresses?
They can. It's just not as funny when girls. It's funnier when a guy wears a dress than when a girl wears jeans because again, a guy in a dress looks like two opposites. A girl in jeans doesn't look like two opposites. Like everybody wears jeans, but typically only women wear dresses, so that's why the notion of seeing a guy in a dress is thought of as funny, because it's like, oh look, two things that don't go together, ha ha ha. That's like the recipe for comedy, two things that don't go together.
I don't know if you saw the interview with Marlon Wayans where he talked about how come nobody ever shit on Robin Williams for wearing a dress.
Right.
They got him an Oscar. So it's because we don't think it was demeaning for Robin Williams too, where I think minorities feel like it's demeaning when it happens to us because we're getting belittled by it. So that's when I bring up a dress, that I wouldn't want to be belittled whether it was in a dress, sucking a dick, or whatever else it may be. That's the
your
frame,
masculinity.
Right.
Yeah, that's the framing that I put it in. But if I could be funny and be in a dress, well then fuck it. But it's the belittling part, and it's always
that's the ego part. The ego part.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, look, sucking a dick is obvious. Nobody wants to be forced to suck a dick, whether it's for jokes, or for like to save your life. You know what I mean? Or it's a hostage situation.
No one is offering you one.
Nobody wants to be forced to suck a dick for any reason, right? So I think that might be a little extreme, but the dress thing, I just get the feeling, man. I've been involved in American culture for my entire life, and it just feels like it's only become a big deal like in the last 5 or 6 years. And more specifically, this conversation is coming up with a lot of black comics. That's where this conversation was birthed from. Because you're right. I don't hear anybody shitting on Robin Williams. I don't hear anybody shitting on, I don't even know any Latino.
Jim Carrey was funny as fuck.
Yeah, I don't hear anybody shitting on Jim Carrey. And also, I don't really even know a lot of Latino comics that pulled that bit off, but I haven't heard anybody shitting on them if they're doing it. You know what I mean? So right now, this seems like a very specific topic for one very specific group of comics. It's like the black comics in America right now are making this. This is like a huge topic in that community, from what I can tell. And the rest of us are buying into it, when in reality, a guy wearing a dress has been funny since the beginning of time. Because it's the rule of opposites. Two things that don't go together and you exacerbate it, and then it becomes a joke.
But about 80 years ago, women normally don't wear jeans or pants. They just wear dresses or skirts,
Yeah.
right? But that things have changed, and you have to get used to it. That's it.
Right.
We call it a revolution.
But women aren't wearing jeans to be funny. Men are wearing dresses to be funny.
I don't think my guy friends who wear dresses to be funny, they could be
Well, in the
queer.
comedy context, I mean,
Oh,
if you wear a dress just on a Saturday night, I mean, that's your
okay.
personal life. If that's how you want to, I mean, if you wear a dress just to wear a dress, that's how, if you're not trying to be funny, then that's not that's not even part of the conversation. In the comedy context, women don't wear jeans to be funny. Men wear dresses to be funny. Why?
Yeah.
Because it's the rule of opposites. These two things don't go together.
Because guys are not that funny. They need dresses.
maybe, and it's worked for a long time, because you can go back to like old plays from 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Men were, but it was the intention was to be funny. Oh, look at that man dressed like a woman.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha. That's not supposed to go together. That's hilarious. So that's still the same concept, especially like a big buff guy wearing a dress. That's the two ends of the spectrum. That's very, very masculine and very, very feminine. You put those two together, it's supposed to be funny. That's the recipe for humor. Two opposites together. So I just feel like we've made it, and that's been going on for a very long time. I just think that it's become a very popular and a very like divisive conversation over the last 7 or 8 years. I think it's a very brand new conversation.
I think I've been hearing about it since Dave Chappelle did Oprah when he left.
I mean, how long ago was that? 10 years ago?
That was 05, 06, right?
God.
But even then, let's say
20 years ago.
20 years ago, that's nothing. That's a drop in the ocean of comedy. 20 years. So maybe it's become a very hot topic since Dave Chappelle brought it up. But dudes were wearing dresses way before Dave Chappelle brought it up. Way before, for comedy purposes. And nobody thought that, oh man, they're trying to make these guys gay. Nobody thought that,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, man, it just seems like a very new topic, and you got to wonder why all of a sudden is it a new topic, but it was never a topic beforehand. I'm just curious why. I'd like to find out, but I guess we'll never know.
You know what I'm really curious, like what women could wear to make us feel funny.
What could women wear to
I
just be
don't know.
funny on appearance?
Yeah. We have nothing.
No,
Right?
you don't.
Right? No, that's so unfair.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
A third boob in the middle, right? They did that on
that's
Total
a good
Recall or
question.
some
Like,
shit,
like
right?
what
we
is
just
it?
we just bring a guy on the stage. With
Yeah,
us
basically.
to make fun.
I don't know. I don't think there's anything because the way that women dress is. I guess it's applicable. That clock doesn't work, by the way. That's the one. I haven't changed the batteries in that like in 5 years.
Like what?
I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, because even when I see a woman wearing a blazer and some jeans, that's a very typical outfit for a stand-up comic. That doesn't scream funny to me. You know?
That's the unfairness. It's like, man, just wear a dress, you feel it's funny. But women, we don't know.
No, but can I tell you where I think it's rooted from though? Because women want to look like men, and men don't necessarily want to look like women. And what I mean by that is this: let's say the traditional outfits for men have always been pants for men and dresses for women, right? At some point, it started becoming more common for women to wear pants. And everybody accepted that because it's very practical and it's useful. Believe me, that's why men wear pants, because they're practical.
And also the men's underwear. Oh god.
Right. It's all very practical stuff. That's why we use it. Men don't look for comfort or for fashion or for stylistic, anything stylish. We just want something practical. You wear some boxers, you wear some pants. So women at some point were like, oh, you know what? That actually makes sense. So we want to start dressing like that. I don't blame you guys, because pants are very comfortable. Pants are like a very useful thing. So eventually you guys crossed over into our world, which is fine. But now like you guys share the same style as us. So there's nowhere else for you guys to reach.
There's
Men,
a lot of dudes that share female styles too nowadays.
like what?
Like, oh my god. Didn't we have this conversation?
Like what?
Like fucking leggings.
Okay, so,
Like-
and
like-
that's
like
funny,
a dude
right?
going to the gym with leggings.
Yes.
Oh my God,
and so
that's
that
horrible,
remains
bro.
funny. That remains funny because the disparity between men's style and women's style still exists. So when you see a man wearing something that's considered feminine, that's funny just on the surface because of the two opposites meshing together. But when you see a woman wearing overalls or jeans, it's not funny because you guys already adopted that style in real life. You know, that's how you guys want to dress. So it can't really be funny if you're not really forcing it.
And I think a woman can still be sexy in mannish clothes, but a dude, I don't know. Again, maybe you could tell it's different, but I don't know. Like if you saw some guy wearing feminine shit, if you're like, man, that dude is sexy than a motherfucker. Because again, remember when
possible.
Aaliyah wore fucking was it Aaliyah or Left Eye wore overalls
Yeah.
and it was baggy, but it was sexy as shit back
Yeah.
then. He was like, man, I still hit that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But that goes back
I don't think-
to Kathy's point. Men are disgusting animals. So we
Yeah, because
we
I guess
fucking-
you've never seen a ballet, with guys, ballerinas,
Right.
Yeah.
That's very sexy. I
Is
think,
that sexy?
Leggings,
Yeah.
very sexy, very beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Do women do like when you see a guy who's a ballet performer?
Yeah, my ballet teacher is a guy.
Yeah.
He's a ballerina.
And he's probably like in really good shape though, right?
Yeah, very
Yeah. So that makes sense.
beautiful. It's like, yeah.
Because you can see everything that's going on. So yeah. But a guy would fuck a mailbox if it had ass. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't care if Left Eye is wearing. She could be in a fucking cardboard box. Like my imagination is already like what's underneath that box. You know?
Guys tend to judge more.
Yes, we're very judgmental. We're very judgmental.
because women will judge other women worse than a man will. You will say, "Oh, look at her! Look at this bitch's eyebrows, and look at her makeup." Or
We're just being jealous.
okay. All right, you guys. Here's the next question. I'm gonna answer first. If your life were a movie, what would be the title, and which actor would you want to play you? Now, I wanted to be first because I didn't want Rudy to steal mine because we're both Mexican. So I want Michael Pena to play me. God damn it! All right.
Michael Pena?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want Michael Pena to play me. The title's gonna be probably the shit that I threw up yesterday, Success or Death.
Yeah.
So it's just gonna show how hard it was from day one to get to success. You know, and
We're
all the
success.
trials and yeah. And
This is
the trials
success, Kathy. I don't know if you looked around. All right?
Imagine.
So I think that's what it would be for me.
Okay.
Rudy, who are you going with?
I was just talking about this actually with my little cousins yesterday. We were at the Sharks game.
Okay.
And we were talking about what would we name our autobiography.
Okay.
And right when we were talking about it, we went outside and we saw the ladies that sell the street hot dogs, and it just clicked. And I was like, Burnt Weenies, the Rudy Ortiz story. That's it. that would be the name of the Burnt Weenies or Burnt Weenies, the Rudy Ortiz story. That'd be the name of my movie or my biography. And who would play me? Probably Michael De Lorenzo from New York Undercover.
Oh,
remember him?
Yeah.
I mean, he's hella old now, but no disrespect, Michael. You know, I still fuck with
Is
you.
he Puerto Rican?
He's Puerto Rican. It's all good though.
Okay.
He can play it off. Or Esai Morales. I get Esai Morales. He's too handsome though. I don't look like anybody in Hollywood, man. Like these facial features, they just don't.
Well, because I noticed when I said Michael Pena, and you was like, oh,
Like,
this
hell nah,
motherfucker-
bro.
Like he was like, oh hell no,
Definitely
this
not Michael
motherfucker
Pena.
Don't look like Rick James at all.
No, not at
So,
all.
Again, we're trying to move up, right?
Yeah.
Like who you gonna have play you, and what's gonna be your time?
I think probably Robin Williams.
There we go.
That's
He's
my
dead.
time. That's my time. I mean, he's
Yeah.
dead, but like that's my time. Like probably Stumpfire.
Yeah.
I feel that's kind of like my very joyful life, but also a lot of drama.
Yes.
And
What would be the name of your movie?
Yeah, if they were
name
to
of
make a
movie?
movie for you.
go duck yourself. I love ducks. I really love ducks.
You love
Roast
ducks?
a duck, whatever, all kinds of ducks.
Alive or dead, doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
no,
Yeah,
it doesn't
on a
matter.
plate or on a pond, it's all good.
It's been a while since we've had a female, so thank you for coming. Thank you for
You're
being
welcome.
part of this. Let's ask you: do you feel like it's harder, easier to be a female comic, or do you think you take more shit, and how so?
I think I take more shit not only because I'm female, but also I'm Asian, and also Asian who didn't grow up in the U.S. And so I think I definitely took more shit.
Yeah.
But I turned those shit into my comedy and into jokes.
Yes.
You give me shit, I give you jokes.
Yeah.
But there's got to be people out in the scene now, like Ali Wong. She's killing it, man.
Yeah, she's
And
killing it.
Yeah, but
funny.
she's from San Francisco, though.
Yeah, she's from San Francisco.
Yeah.
She's from San Francisco, but she's funny as shit. And
Yeah.
that's
Of
what it
course.
comes down to.
Yeah, I
You know,
love her.
I tell people her 2 comedy specials, her first 2 when she was pregnant. 2 of my favorite.
She's
So
amazing.
good.
I saw her like just 2 months ago. She's amazing.
So
And her
good.
tickets were fucking expensive, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you could have bought a Ali Wong ticket for less than $350.
That's wild.
That's
I think
wild.
around 200.
Damn.
Like 200.
So-
yeah.
How do you justify that? $350 for a stand-up comedy show?
It's so inspiring. It's so inspiring. Like when she ended the show, she's like, "Oh, I'm so grateful to comedy because it's because of comedy I built all the connections. I feel connected to people." I was like, "That's exactly how I felt." I was almost crying. I was
No,
like,
and that's gorgeous and that's priceless. But who the fuck is worth $350? Nobody. No, I swear, there's
Dave
not.
Chappelle's price,
No,
like it's $1,000.
not even Dave Chappelle. Whoever you think is regarded as the best living stand-up comic, that's fine. Nobody's worth $350 for a fucking comedy show.
That's what a broke guy thinks.
I'm just saying, I mean, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But I'm telling you, if I ever had money, I would never fucking allow the people that are running my show to fucking sell $350 tickets.
That's why I don't have money.
No, for sure, and it's gonna stay that way. I'm gonna die eating cat food. I know. I'm gonna die like broke somewhere. But my point still remains, though. It's unethical to charge $350 for a fucking comedy show. That's crazy.
How much is Taylor Swift?
That's
ticket?
bullshit too. Like that bitch isn't worth that either. There's nobody on earth is worth $1,000 to go watch them perform. That's fucking lunacy. They're gouging you. Everybody who's buying
Hey,
these
how
tickets, they're
about the
gouging.
Super Bowl?
Not even that. I would never spend that much money. That's
That's
crazy.
$10,000.
Even if you were rich?
$10,000.
If I was rich,
Yeah, if
bro.
you
If
were
I
rich.
was, you know what? Especially
you want
if
them
I
to
was.
comp you?
Listen, and now this is coming.
why I was trying to be rich,
This is
right?
coming from a broke person's mentality,
Yeah.
right? So if I, but I think that if I was rich, just for the sake of principle, I wouldn't spend the fucking money. $2 million on a suite. Dude, I don't know. That's like a slap in the face to all the broke people that I was raised by and grew up with. You're like slapping them in the face. Like, okay, well here, I'm gonna go do something that you could never fucking afford in your life. It just feels wrong.
You know, time of education time. So for economic, we know there's this supply and demand. So it's all because of supply and demand. It's not because you are unethical or you are ethical. It's supply and demand.
So
Yeah, but in an instance like that, it has nothing to do with supply or demand because you have corporations coming in and buying these tickets and making it more of a demand. So they're setting the price. So it's not like a fucking Super Bowl ticket. I think the average cost of a Super Bowl ticket for the nosebleed seats was $16,000.
Yeah.
And that's
It's
not
supply demand
because,
because a lot of people want to see that. Want to see that stupid football.
but not
Yeah,
a lot of,
yeah.
but not a lot of regular people. You can go to a Warriors game, and the reason Warrior games are so expensive nowadays is because corporations are sitting there buying up tickets, not the regular person that wants to go see the
But
fucking
like
game.
you have fans like Ali Wong or like Dave Chappelle. They have like millions of fans, and they only want to see them, let's say, once a year. So I would like to spend like $500. It's okay. It's once a year, and that's it. That's
No,
the
yeah,
market.
hey, I
That's
mean-
the market.
No,
Let's
for
ask you
sure,
that then.
for sure.
So if you were to be international, what ticket price do you think you would charge? You want to charge $500?
As high as I can.
As high as you
because
can.
I would donate it to my nonprofit.
Which is yourself. Like donate it to the project.
No, we'll have a lot of people. Yeah.
But you know what though? You know what? To your point though, I'm broke. So and I've never had money, and so I probably never will because like that doesn't excite me. You know what I mean? It doesn't excite me to think like, oh, I can't wait to be so popular amongst people who respect what I do that I get to gouge the fuck out of them. Ooh, I can't wait for that. It just. I don't know.
Quite a gauge. You know, like 2 years ago, the person who won Nobel Prize, economic prize, he talked about why poor people keep being poor and why rich people keep being rich.
Okay.
It's about the mentality.
Okay.
And your time to spend. You say like, I don't think I will become rich. You probably never become rich.
Right.
You need to have that mentality. It's like, hey, I will be rich. I'm already rich. So
Right.
you can have a better chance.
Yeah. But you don't. But do you think that there's? Can you be rich and then also still be fair?
How do you define fair? What's the definition of fair?
There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Well, Well, if I get rich off of art,
Why do you think Picasso worth like thousands of millions of dollars? Why do you think Picasso worth that?
why do I think who's worth that much?
Picasso, like the art of Picasso.
Right, Picasso. Yeah, right. Because it's definitely because it's so rare. Because there was only one of him, right? And it was so highly touted, highly renowned. And then also you have people who have taken control of his art and have said, okay, look, in the name of art, we're going to make sure that if anybody owns this, you have to hand over a bunch of money. So there's people, because I'm pretty sure Picasso probably wouldn't have sold his art for the prices that they're being sold for now. Because if it was up to him and this is just me assuming that I know what Picasso
Just
thinks
assumption.
like, right? Just completely assuming.
But actually, he's a very good business person, Picasso.
Was he?
Yes.
Do you know that?
Yes, that's in the history.
Okay, so what was his how was he a good business person? He just charged a lot of money for his
He
his
knows
work?
like how to sell his his art.
Yeah.
That means that you're a good business person. So you know how to sell it to the people who want it. That's supply and demand. Right.
Yeah,
So-
but sometimes, and I got to interject because, again, maybe it's just me being a little bit older, living a little life, and I have the same argument with the healthcare system. You know what I mean? Is I got into healthcare 20 years ago to help fucking people. And nowadays, we have other nurses that they don't give a fuck about nobody. They just want to make top dollar. And you think as someone who has healthcare, like you're going to get every service because, man, I got healthcare. And that's not the way the system's set up no more. So when I make my comments about doing comedy versus healthcare, is because I'm tired of being a part of the problem in a system that's fucked up. And of course, I could be like every other nurse and be like, you know what? My degree lets me work as many hours as I want. Healthcare works 24/7. But that's not for me. I'm an integrity person, and I can't keep charging people and keep living that life just because I can. And I feel like it, no matter what it is, whether it's comedy or something else, I feel like I have to give back to the people that put me in the position that got me for there. And that's what I do as a nurse too. And that's why I hate fucking being a nurse. So that's what this whole conversation to me is about, is if I'm going to charge somebody $300 to come see me, it's because they're going to have the greatest fucking story about hanging out with Rick James after the show.
But you can't
We was
possibly
kicking-
hang out with all those people though.
Oh, shit, we going to do it, goddammit.
There's 1,000 people that paid
Because
$350.
nobody wants to pay
So-
$300 to
I'm
see
just
you.
saying,
To begin with.
where that's the question that you posed on what's fair. To
Yeah, what is fair? What's
that's
fair?
fair to me if I feel like I'm providing a service for you that you're getting. And I don't feel like some of these people just gouge you because they can. Ozempic is, I had a friend call and say that she's getting $600 a month.
Yeah. I have friends $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
$600 a month for one medication.
Yeah.
And it's not because that's fair. It's because these drug companies know they can charge
It's
you
because
that
of the
shit.
supply demand, and now it's like a shortage. So it's because of this. It's not because, in terms of the medical, like all the resources, the reason that you cannot lift it to a too high price because the government needs to control that part, because it's the necessity of every human body. It's like we have to
but
have the medical, we have to have
Our
the
government doesn't
insurance.
control that.
That's
and
why
that's
America
the reason.
fucked
And it has
their
nothing to do
healthcare
with supply or
system.
demand. It has
Yeah.
to do with these companies get to control our government, so they get to set that price. So you know what I mean? Because I bet you if you go and you go to another country, Ozempic's not going to be $600 a month. It's going to be $200 or $300. We
lot of
do this
countries
because
don't
we
even
allow
have
that shit.
Ozempic.
Right, some
Just
countries don't
because
even have
you
it, yeah.
allow it doesn't mean that it's right. And I'm just getting so sick and tired of shit like that, where you're just like, again, because again, we're all here with made up money. We're all here with made up money. That's a man-made thing. So they can turn off your bank account tomorrow.
Right.
I've had my shit shut off once before, and believe me, if you haven't had that happen to you, you start realizing like, oh shit, there's an equalizer there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So all my money is put on guns and ammo, motherfuckers. So there's
I just don't want to. I'd rather die broke than die a bad person. And it just seems to me like the path to wealth includes compromising your integrity and having to step on others in order to build a fortune. I don't know if you can do it any other way.
But I know so many people, like multi-billionaires, like they are of high integrity. they are like scientists. They work like they build a company, they sold it, and I don't think they are bad people. And also, I saw so many bad people. They are really poor. So I would not say there's a logic between being rich or poor with like whether you are a person of integrity or not.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, there's really no way to prove it. Like I don't have any data to back it up, but I do have years of experience of just watching people become a lot more selfish, become a lot more greedy, and become driven by attaining once they get on that path. And it just seems to me like, for example, going back to healthcare, if people can charge, if people can control the pricing, they're not going to give affordable pricing. They're going to make sure that they get as much as they possibly can. I mean, you just said it earlier when he asked you how much would you charge for your tickets. You said as much as I can possibly get. So, and you seem to be a reasonable, kind person, at least for the last hour, right?
Maybe not.
You see, no. So I would think that. Why would you change that mentality? Right now, you're just talking and joking about your tickets for your comedy show. But why would you ever change that mentality if you were in the position to control pricing for medicine? There's no need. There's no need to change that mentality.
It's different. Medicine is like everybody needs it, but like comedy is not everybody. So that's why we provide nonprofit.
Right.
Back to our advertisement. Laugh it out of hub.
But laughter is the best medicine, so don't forget that. But the idea behind it is the same though. Hey, look, I got to get as much as I can possibly get, and it doesn't seem as malicious when we talk about art, but it's very malicious when you're talking about that mentality in the medicinal world.
Yeah.
And so what I'm suggesting is that if we're willing to talk about something as noble as art with that type of cutthroat mentality, you can bank on it that when it comes to something a lot more malicious, we're going to be just as willing to be just as cutthroat.
But in terms of art, because it's really hard to appraise it, like because people can live without art, they can still breathe. But if people get sick without medical health care, they couldn't live.
Well,
so
then why?
So there's this super precious resources, the medical care. While the art is like whatever, it's not that precious. But once this art become to individuals, like the famous people, the famous artists, or the whatever famous comedians, they become precious because a comedian can only have how many tours per year? It's like, let's say at most 150, shows.
Yeah.
Even like say everyday shows, 356 shows. And that's precious. That's something with limited supply, but if he has a lot of fans, a lot of demand.
And I understand what you're saying, but I think that's where we have like just a fundamental difference of opinion, because no artist should ever think of themselves as that precious, because you're not.
And a lot of artists are not even artists.
I mean, yeah, but they're business people. They're business people who are under the guise of art. So, but I still believe that no. Once an artist starts believing that they're that precious, that they deserve that much money, they've lost it already. Now they're just business people disguised as artists. Which again goes back to what I was saying when I said that you have to compromise your integrity in the art world if what you want is money, and that they're proving it that way. Hey, people are gonna pay for it because they're good wolves in sheep's clothing, so they're gonna find suckers to pay for it. But it doesn't take away from the fact that now they've abandoned their art in order to make money because they found the loophole. They're like, oh, I'm so precious. Oh, I've got people believe that I'm that important. Let me capitalize on it. Let me make money off it. And I just think that once you go down that road, you've lost something.
Yeah. But one person I really admire so much is Walt Disney. Walt Disney, if we know that he's an artist, but he's also a very shrewd and successful business person.
Right.
I think you cannot deny that all those animations, 1950s, 60s, 70s, were the best among that time. We don't compare to the 3D now today.
Yeah.
They were the best, but he exploited so many people. So can we say because he exploited so many of his employees, so those animations are bad? We don't do that.
No. The result is still celebrated, but it doesn't take away from the fact that in order to become wealthy, you must do some very unethical things. Unethical things must happen on the path to fortune and notoriety.
Then we don't do unethical things. We do non-profits.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. Just call it a nonprofit. Everything will be fine. Hands are clean.
Oh, you got anything else for us, Rudy?
No, I'm gonna die broke, and no artist is ever that precious. Don't forget that.
And let me say this: shout out to Ali Wong for doing her thing. I personally wouldn't spend $350, but I think she's great for comedy. It's great knowing that she came out of the Bay. It's great knowing that
She's an incredible comic.
Yeah.
That goes
Yeah.
without saying. That's
I
not even.
only
It's
paid
great
$100
knowing that-
actually. I only paid $100 for her ticket.
Well, I don't know where was it at.
It was in Masonic.
Yeah, that's what I looked up, and
Yeah.
I couldn't find anything less than $329.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Maybe because I looked later or something.
Oh yeah, maybe yeah.
So
Because
maybe
I got
that's
the
what it
best spot, but I paid so little because somehow that spot was empty.
Yeah.
So I went to that seat.
I do want to say though that my reaction to a comedy show costing $300-$400, it for sure has a lot to do with the fact that I've been around stand-up comedy for so long, and I've been to shitty shows and I've been to incredible shows, and they're really not that different. So I mean, because you can hear the same fucking jokes at a theater show with 2,000 people,
or Netflix.
or on Netflix, or at a bar when they're working on it. So for me, I guess that's why I'm like, why would anybody pay $300 for the set that they've been working on at these little clubs and little bar shows for the last 5 or 6 months? It just seems like it's not worth it. But I suppose if you're not in the comedy world, then all that stuff is brand new to you. And so it's like, oh, look at that. Like they just created this. It's like, no, they were working on that at a fucking dive bar for like 6 months. You could have got it for free there. But go ahead and spend $400. If you want to spend $400, more power to you.
And we'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
My main man, Rick James, the comedian Rick James. Get up on.
In my opinion, podcast. My opinion, podcast. All nine figures.